안녕하세요. Hi guys. Welcome back to the seemile Korean for Beginners class. I'm your teacher, Emma. It's so exciting that you now know every Korean letter and can read and write every Korean word. We are now in the final part of chapter 1, the Korean alphabet. You may wonder what there is left to learn about the Korean alphabet Hangeul. Well, even though all the Korean consonants and vowels have their distinctive sounds, there are some unique pronunciation rules in Hangeul. You don't have to memorize all the technical information we're going to cover in this lesson or be concerned about which rule to apply each time you read a Korean word. No, you definitely don't need to do that. Please just take in this next information as a point of reference. The one thing you need to remember is that in some cases, the way a word is pronounced may be different than the usual sound the letters that compose the word make. When you practice reading, please rely more on the audio files than the written text in your book. Rather than trying to make the standard sound for each letter, please repeat the pronunciation in the audio recordings of the native Korean speaker and match the letter with its sound in real life. That way, you naturally become familiar with the pronunciation rules of the Korean language. Then, let's consider some of these rules together. The first one is the linking sound rule. You know what? You actually already know this. How? Do you remember how to pronounce a double final consonant when it is followed by a vowel? That's right. The sound of the second consonant is pronounced as if it's the initial consonant of the following vowel. For example, we pronounce this word 달기. So if a final consonant is followed by a vowel, it is pronounced as if it were the initial consonant of the following vowel. Look at this word, 한국어. The final consonant 기역 is followed by the vowel 어. So the 기역 is combined with the vowel 어, and as the result, it sounds 한국어. Then let's read the rest of the words. 집은, 먹어요, 앉아요, 독일 사람이에요. Good job! Of course, even if you were to say 먹어요, no problem. Any Korean would understand what you're saying. But if you say 먹어요, that sounds way more natural, the way a native Korean speaker would say it. And you might also find that 먹어요 is easier to say than 먹어요. Therefore, this phonological phenomenon is actually for the ease of pronunciation. So please don't be intimidated by this or any of the other rules. They will in fact help you get used to accurate Korean pronunciation more easily and quickly, and even help you sound more like a native Korean speaker. Then, let's move on to the next rule. A nasal sound is one that is produced when air passes through one's nose. There are 3 consonants that have nasal sounds: 미음, 니은, and 이응. When pronouncing them, you can feel a bit of vibration inside your nose. Nasalization is the phenomenon whereby when a nasal sound meets a consonant that's not nasal, that consonant is substituted with its corresponding nasal sound. Or in other words, the nasal sound that articulates in a similar place to it. Whoa, what does this mean? Let's take a look at it together, one aspect at a time. First, when the final consonant 미음 and 이응 are followed by 리을, 리을 is pronounced as н, which is its corresponding nasal sound. For example, in this word 음료수, the final consonant 미음 is followed by 리을, and thus it has to be pronounced as н. So it reads 음료수. For the same reason, we read it 염려, 음력, 정리, 정류장, 종로. Next, when the final consonants 기역, 디귿, and 비읍 are followed by 니은, 미음, or 리을, then 기역, 디귿, and 비읍 are pronounced as their corresponding nasal sounds 이응, 니은, and 미음 respectively. When 리을 follows those same final consonants, 기역, 디귿, or 비읍, it too is substituted with a nasal sound that has a similar articulator, which in this case is 니은. For example, here, 수업료, the final consonant 비읍 meets 리을, so 비읍 becomes 미음, and then 리을 becomes 니은. So the natural way to pronounce this word would be 수업료. It's way easier to say 수업료 than 수업료, isn't it? For the same reason, we read these words as 컵라면, 대학로, 기억력, 국물, 꽃말, 눕는. Great job! Tensification also occurs quite often in Korean pronunciation. What is that? When a final consonant containing a g, d, or b sound is followed by 기역, 디귿, 비읍, 시옷, or 지읒, they are given a tensed pronunciation g, d, b, s, and 쯔 respectively. For example, here 학교, the final consonant g is followed by 기역, so the initial consonant 기역 is pronounced g, and as the result it reads 학교. If you try pronouncing it with the standard sound of the letters, it would be 학교, and you'll notice that's harder to pronounce. Yes, once again, this rule is for our ease of pronunciation. Let's read the following words. 식당, 국밥, 학생, 극장, 받다, 꽃다발, 밥상, 옆집. When the final consonants 니은 and 미음 precede 기역, 디귿, 비읍, 시옷, or 지읒, the same phenomenon happens. For example, this word 신다 has the final consonant n that is followed by 디귿. So this 디귿 is pronounced 뜨, and thus it reads 신다. Likewise, we say 신지, 신고, 감다, 감지, 감고. Can you recall another group of sounds related to tense consonants? Yes, that's right, aspirated consonants. When the consonant 히읗 meets 디귿, 지읒, 기역, and 비읍, they combine to produce the sounds 트, 츠, 크, 프, respectively. How? Look at this word. The final consonant 디귿 and the following initial consonant 히읗 should be combined as 티귿, and as the result, the correct way to pronounce this word would be 맏형. Likewise, these next words are pronounced 안치다, 착하다, 입학, 이렇게, 싫다고, 많지요. Great! When the final consonants 디귿 and 티귿 are followed by 이, those consonants and 이 are combined to create 지 and 치 respectively. For example, in this word, as the final consonant 디귿 is followed by 이, the word is pronounced as 굳이. For the same reason, these are pronounced 같이, 다치다. When the final consonant 히읗 is followed by a vowel, 히읗 just gets deleted. So we read these words as 나은, 노아, 좋아요, 많아요. The final rule, number 7, is liquidization. When the consonant 리을 is preceded or followed by the consonant 니은, the 니은 is pronounced as 리을. For example, here the final consonant 리을 is followed by 니은, so this 니은 becomes 리을, and the correct way to pronounce it would be 설날. Let's take another example. Here, the initial consonant 리을 is preceded by the final consonant 니은. Again, this 니은 becomes 리을, so it reads 편리. Let's apply the same rule to these words and read them out loud. 생일날, 실내, 물냉면, 신랑, 연락처, 원래. Excellent job! Finally, we are done with Hangul. Not only can you read and write all the letters of the Korean alphabet Hangul now, but you also know how to pronounce them as naturally as native speakers do. But again, please don't feel stressed out about memorizing all the phonological rules of Korean and constantly check if you're applying them accurately. The best way to improve your pronunciation is to read out loud while following after a native speaker's audio recording. As you repeat it over and over again, you'll automatically become familiar with those rules and find yourself fluently reading Korean sentences. Wow, I'm so proud of you guys, and at the same time, so excited that finally you're going to learn some basic Korean expressions and grammar. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope you enjoyed it. See you in the next class. Bye!